So I used to work in graduate recruitment at an investment bank, and my main responsibility was to go through video interviews and decide which ones would go through the next round and which ones wouldn't. I went through hundreds and hundreds of video interviews, so here are my tips on how to leave a great impression and get through the next round. If you're new here, my name is Clouds. I was a first-gen uni student, which meant I had no support when it came to job applications, so now it is my mission to democratize all this information to make sure you have a more guided experience. Alright, my first tip is to focus on structure. What you're saying counts for only about 30% of your answer. How you say it is the other 70%. Framing your answers well will ensure that the recruiter can follow along with what you're saying and know where you're going with your answer. You can use frameworks like STAR or just simple numbering will ensure you have a good structure. My next tip is to make sure you practice in a timed environment. Video interviews will typically give you 30 to 60 seconds to prepare and then 1 to 3 minutes to answer, so make sure you practice in this format. Use ChatGPT to generate some questions and then time yourself. And my advice here is if you have a few spare seconds, it's better to just stop talking. Don't get greedy and try to squeeze in extra sentences because you might get cut off, and that is much worse. My next tip is to practice 2 key questions. Why do you want this role and why should we pick you? You're very likely to get these questions in your video interview, and even if you don't, these will definitely come up in your in-person interview. Next, make sure you practice speaking to a camera before you actually go into your video interview. Speaking to a camera with no real-time feedback can feel so awkward and unfamiliar at first, so you do not want your first time to be the time when it counts. And last but not least, make sure you dress up professionally, test out your camera and audio settings beforehand, and come with a big smile and great body language.